A child walked into a school building in Buffalo. A man followed him. Minutes later, that man was tackled by a staff member.
So, Buffalo schools are covering up child abuse. What the fuck?
Minutes later, that man was tackled by a staff member and arrested for attempted abduction. The child's parents were never told. The only reason anyone found out is because a detective got a copy of deleted surveillance footage handed to him by a staffer who secretly recorded it on a phone.
And so this is from the
footage was
podcast.
erased. The family found out from the district attorney. That detective's name is Richard High. He's not a political actor. He's not a teacher. He's not a disgruntled parent. He's an SVU cop, 13 years on the Buffalo police force, 2 years assigned to child sexual assault cases. And he says the school system in Buffalo doesn't just fail to report crimes, it suppresses them, it obstructs justice, it hides victims, and it ignores subpoenas. High laid it all out in April 2025 on a podcast, then on camera, then in court filings. Within 48 hours, over 650,000 people had heard what he said, and what he said was specific. He claimed the Buffalo Public School District routinely labeled child sexual assault reports as information only to prevent them from being investigated. He said subpoenas from law enforcement were ignored, signed by judges, handed to the district, and left unanswered.
What? This is as bad as it sounds?
If you can't tell by the thumbnail, this episode, it's not even an episode. It is something Rich, you know him as Angry Cops, brought to light. And it is something that even now I'm at a loss of words to how to even explain it. I will say viewer discretion is advised.
People are spamming on Reddit during my vacation?
I truly believe everyone should see this message. And I know this community. We know this community.
Yeah, we'll get the likes and dislikes.
We know you guys will help make this right and make a difference. And really quick, so much love for Rich and what
this is
doing
pretty serious.
and the purpose of this.
Holy shit.
All the AdSense and money that this video generates is going to be donated to the Buffalo, New York Family Justice Center. And the other reason it is running is because in order to reach as many people as possible, this is how you have to do it. Otherwise, it gets restricted. And we didn't want that for this message. Angry Cops, Rich, we will support you till the end of times with this. And I know all of you will do the same. We here, you all, we defend those who might need a little help or who don't have a voice. So again, viewer discretion is advised.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Unsubscribed Podcast. Rich has something important to say and we would like for you all to hear it.
What the
You ready to get sued?
Yeah.
No?
Let's go.
All right, so this is
Damn, that's a lot of cups.
This is real, and this can affect my life, but it's at the moment where it's one of those things where you got to do the right thing or not. And I didn't want to ruin the actual podcast with it. I wanted to wait till later on just in case. So here's the deal. I've been in SVU in the Buffalo Police Department for 2 years, and there was a space in between where I left SVU, the Special Victims Unit, and I went to two other. I got promoted to lieutenant, and then went to the FBI and assisted with that, and I'm back in SVU. But during those few years, even before then, there has been an issue where the Buffalo school system, specifically their legal representatives in the city, like the city attorneys that specifically work for Buffalo Public Schools, right? So I'm not sure if that's the city of Buffalo buying these attorneys and having them protect them, or if it's like the schools, like lawyers for the schools as their own thing. But either way, long story short, the Buffalo school system has been intentionally not reporting the assaults of student between student, and then has also used the Buffalo Police Department's school resource officers to write reports and then had their influence over those officers to then close the reports. And that's a story I'll get into.
Right. So soft pitch, why are they doing that?
I don't know. My best estimate is that they're afraid
They don't want to get fired.
Don't want the numbers to show that there are these police investigations occurring at their schools or assaults occurring at their schools because it could affect funding or something somehow,
Yeah.
which, by the way, is fucking stupid. If a crime happens at a school, it doesn't mean that funding is then stopped or prevented from going to that school. Oftentimes, if there's a problem, people will pour money into that problem to fix it. And I'm going to give you an example.
The reason why, it's probably because they know that they are somehow letting this happen. Like, they know that they bear some level of accountability and responsibility for it, so that's why they're ignoring it.
This is a real example.
You're afraid of bad
There's
press?
a school that's
Exactly.
attached to the Buffalo Science Museum. That school that's attached to the Buffalo Science Museum has doors that can go from the Science Museum into the school. Those doors are not locked. Individuals can get into them, right? Stranger danger, right?
Okay, sure.
And that happened. So a stranger went into the school. It's a grade school. It's a very low school. And this person grabbed a male and a female child.
It's a very low school.
Low grade school.
So like first
This is like little kids, yeah. It's not like high schoolers. It's like 8-year-olds.
Yeah. So kids under the age of 10.
Oh, fuck.
Jesus.
So it goes into the school and grabs a young female child and a male child and tries to leave. And I'm gonna parcel this story up in kind of the way that the information came in.
Bro, what the
At first, the information that came in was that there was one female child that was it was an attempted abduction.
Sure.
There was no report about the second child. Kind of a big deal. The second child, the boy, had pissed himself. And when his parents came...
yeah, I bet.
Sorry, I'm getting fucked up. When his parents came to pick him up...
Take your time, brother.
Yeah, sorry. Give me a second.
You good?
You're all right, man.
When his parents came to pick him up, the school did not disclose to the parent that the kid was a part of an attempted abduction. So when parents asked him, why did my kid piss his pants at school, the teachers and the people in charge did not tell them that there was an attempted abduction. The school then deleted the video of the attempted abduction.
The fuck?
In the district attorney's office, excuse me. And the district attorney's office only got it because somebody within the school had the wherewithal to record it and then give it to them.
What? They're hiding something? And also, as Little Tears, no, you have to understand that, like, a lot of guys, like, this guy worked in a special victims unit. So this is, like, what I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But, like, whenever he's telling these stories, he's probably thinking about, like, 10 other stories that are, like, 100 times worse that he had to deal with. And, like, that's probably it's, like, kind of like a PTSD type thing, right? It's like a trigger. Yeah. Because, like, I don't think people understand, like, how much, like, dealing with this kind of stuff, especially, it's like if you gaze into the abyss long enough, it'll gaze back into you. Like, that kind of metaphor, like, how it's basically like this. Yeah, it really fucks you up a lot. You said
the
13
district
years
attorney's
or
office
something like that,
has
8 years.
sent subpoenas, so like court-ordered documents from judges that are signed.
Which, by the way, I mean, deleting evidence of a crime like that is, like, absolutely illegal. It's not even a question, right? It's really not.
The school's legal representatives, and those representatives have intentionally not responded to them. Now, here's the weird
Major
thing,
felony?
which
Yeah.
is like this is the biggest issue right here. Is that specific one is the one that sent me over the edge. Obviously, I'm emotional from it. So, the biggest issue with this entire story, well, one of the issues with this entire story is that when subpoenaed, these legal representatives for the Buffalo School Department are ignoring the subpoenas and not just.
Does Donald know about this? Someone needs to send this to Donald. Like, this is crazy. He should, yeah. So, like, somebody needs to fucking know about this. This is crazy.
Not responding to them, but being obstructionists.
I'll text them. It's
and
okay.
actually giving information to school administrators and school personnel to not talk to the police or assist the police in any way.
Whoa,
In fact,
wait a minute.
Obstructionists and actually responding to them, but being obstructionists and actually giving information to school administrators and school personnel to not talk to the police or assist the police in any way. In fact,
to actively obstruct a police investigation into a child abduction. And this is being done by a school district? The school district claims these are untruths on Twitter? Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Obstruct us, like intentionally do not do these things. Here's how you prevent the police from doing their job. So, and here's where like this crux is coming in, why it's kind of a whistleblower thing is there are people that are trying to get this information from the schools and the
well, like, wouldn't it be easy to tell? Because so like if a school has security cameras and the security camera footage during the time of this abduction just doesn't exist, but there's a secondary footage of it that wasn't recorded by the school security system, wouldn't that prove effectively that they deleted it? Like, I mean, I feel like, how do you even deny that?
main obstructionists are these lawyers who, once again, I said, are ignoring subpoenas and court orders. And the only way that you can overcome that is if somebody from the court system, judge, attorney general's office in New York State, the attorney general of the United States, comes down and says, why are you not responding to these court orders? You're ordered to respond to them, and you're not.
Yeah.
And in this specific case, you know, like destruction of evidence, you know,
that's
huge,
kind of a bad one, you know?
Huge. And
also keep in mind, I talked about this the other day, I'll say it again, is that destruction of evidence is something that even if the crime hasn't officially been committed yet, it's still something that you can be held accountable for if you are destroying it in anticipation of the crime being reported. So even though it hasn't been charged as a crime yet, this can still be something that you're held accountable for.
Telling one of the kid's parents.
No, if somebody comes forward, you said somebody had the wherewithal to record the surveillance video or whatever it was.
Yeah.
If somebody comes forward with that, that's still usable as evidence.
So they have to, person, that's a weird thing about New York State. And I'm not a lawyer, and my knowledge is limited in that, but from my understanding, you need to have somebody confirm the authenticity of the recording. So let's say that it's a CCTV of like a corner store. The manager or a worker would have to show up to court and say, that is the video that from my store. When it comes from, and I don't know if this is how it was done, but let's say like
that's bad though, right? Because if that's the case, then they're the ones that are recording it and they're also trying to hide it.
Phone recorded the CCTV footage, and then they were like, hey, they deleted the real CCTV footage, and then gave it to the assistant district attorney. You would need somebody to authenticate that, which would, and this is where the legal process is weird to me. I'm not sure if that means that the individual that sent the CCTV recording from their phone would have to state, I'm so and so, I recorded that with my phone. I was in the office of such and such school, and this is recording of our CCTV footage. Or,
well, I mean, couldn't they also just like reference the metadata too? Because there would be like a creation date and everything for the data. And assuming that this person isn't some kind of like computer scientist, they're probably not going to know how to like make that artificial.
It means that any representative from the school
Yeah,
can
there's
say,
a log. Yeah.
no, what that person recorded.
Metadata can be changed. Yeah, but like again, it's more certainty, right? Very rarely are you able to achieve 100% certainty. But if you have somebody who doesn't really seem to be computer literate that is doing this, and the metadata matches their story, and there's no history of them having experience of changing it or having like education on changing it, then yeah, I think it's a dot on the graph. Yeah, exactly. Eventually, you can still draw a line.
Is our CCTV footage.
Gotcha. So whoever recorded versus anyone can say yes and verify that.
So I'm not sure. Like that's something for like the lawyers to do. I'm not sure how that process goes, but
yeah, school district did that.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's a lot of the schools. When I say that's the worst example that I have, which is obviously a horrible example, I can't tell you the amount of shit that I have to go through in order to go to a school, talk to a principal, and say, what did the kid tell you? And they'll go, I can't talk to you. I've got to talk to my lawyers. You're like, it's in your job to protect the kids? I can't tell you how many.
I think they're just trying to protect their jobs. I think that's what's probably happening. They're doing this in order to protect their jobs.
I had a girl that was, man, I don't get fucked up.
This is another one?
That's fucking wild. Like, especially if your own kiddo and then you don't even know. They come home, they're scared, they're confused, they have no idea what just happened, and then no one's telling them.
If you were a parent, the loyalty to the
and you're getting you're getting gaslighted by your own school that it didn't happen. Too. I mean, you think about the damage that does to a kid psychologically. If like the school won't even acknowledge the thing that happened to you.
Money above the kids.
Yeah, that's.
I think it's a mix of fear. I think it's the fear of there's a lot of shit there. I don't think it's like dirty money. I think it's a fear of losing your job. It's a fear of the people that are above you that are going to come back.
I appreciate him saying this and not trying to turn this into like some global like Pizzagate level conspiracy. It's probably just a lot of people that are bad actors or not doing their jobs properly that are scrambling and using kids as effectively collateral in order to protect themselves.
Get you. I think it's the fear of stepping out of line and then getting, reprimanded.
Yep.
High standard.
But like one of the cases that I had is a girl went to she got beat by her dad, who's a blood. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
She got beat by her dad. And she went to a school counselor and said, my dad beats me. And the school counselor didn't report it. The school counselor's like notes were like, this kid's a liar. She lies a lot about like how cool she was at another school. And you're like, oh, that's normal kid lying shit. What do I give a f about that? So she didn't report it. And then the next incident happened where this girl had a video recording of, I forget if it was either her dad post beating her or if it was during the beating or if it was of her injuries. I think it was of her dad punching her. And she walks into the counselor's office while she's with another girl, plays the video, and the woman's like, is that you? And she's like, yeah, that's me. And then the girl walks out of the office. And then later on in the day, the counselor goes up to her and is like, hey, listen, what's going on with that video? Like, is that you? Like, what's going on? She's like, yeah, that's me. My dad beats me all the time. And then the kid walked away. Not reported. Not reported.
I'm gonna crash out. What the fuck?
Not reported to CPS, not reported to the police. The third time is when my case comes in. The kid comes into school beaten and bruised and swollen, and then they remove the kid from the parents' custody, right?
Okay.
And then that's when I get the investigation of child abuse.
But it took 3 fucking times to
It
get
took
to
3
you.
times.
Oh, wait, so it's the same kid. So basically, they report it early on. The counselor ignores it. They provide video evidence to the counselor. The counselor ignores it. Finally, this kid gets totally fucked up, and oh my God, still ignored. Well, and the counselor probably didn't even have anything to do with the third time. Cry for help ignored 3 times, 2 times apparently, but yeah. Holy shit, that counselor needs to go to prison, holy fuck. Well, they need to have their license taken away. I mean, at the very least, right? And why? Because they lied about being popular in another school? Who's the adult here?
The first time, it's easy. Hey, CPS. This girl says that she got beat. I don't really know what's going on. Here you go. And then CPS begins an investigation. And then the law enforcement.
I really hate this idea that, I don't know if you guys have noticed this at all being more pervasive, but have you guys noticed the pervasive and toxic idea that parents should not be privy to and accountable and should not be aware of the things that their children do in school? And I'm seeing this happen in a lot of different cases. I think it happens with, for example, like the, gender identification. Now it's happening with this circumstance. It's also happening with like sexuality as well in general. And I think that we're seeing more of a widespread perversion that effectively justifies removing a parent's agency over their own child in like the supposed best interest of the kid. Like, because I'm seeing abortions is another one. Yeah. Giving the kid birth control, right? Without telling the parent. I think you should be able to give the kid birth control, but you should also have to tell the parent. Is that fair? Right? I mean, I think that's fair. So in general, duty to report. Yeah. It's not just something to fire over. It's a criminal charge. Well, I just don't know enough about that. Like, if that's true, I hope that's what happens. But yeah, this is fucking sick, man. It's a gray area? Yeah, I don't know.
Referral from CPS comes to me, and then if CPS...
I'll take birth control can make you sterile. Look, if a doctor disagrees with me for legal or like for medical reasons, I would defer to them. I'm just thinking about this ethically from my perspective. I could be wrong. It's not... I don't strongly hold this position. It's just something that if I had to fall off on one side of the fence, this is kind of what I think is okay.
Brings her in, does an interview, and it's valid. I go talk to dad and arrest him. That didn't happen. The second time, there's video fucking proof that she's got a video on her phone and shows you.
Literally,
and then you do nothing.
4K.
And so like that. Those are the two. That's one that I'm directly involved in. That's one that I happen to know about that I'm not investigating.
Wow.
And I can tell you that...
And this is all in the same school district.
Myself and the people in my unit are concerned, but we've made complaints, and people in my chain of command above me have made complaints, and we've had to go back to be like, let's look at this address of the school. What's that?
What's the outcome you want on this? Like what?
But like, you guys see what I'm saying though, right? About how like there is this increasing like narrative that parents are like effectively not fully accountable for their children, and schools and society should be making decisions above the parents. I've been seeing this play out in the last 10 years, and I find it to be incredibly disgusting. And I think this is one of the dark sides of that.
I want the one school counselor that I investigated arrested for for failing to report.
Okay.
You're not a school counselor if you don't know how to tell people that a child's being abused. She needs to be arrested, or at least charged. If you want to put her on probation, fucking fine. But something needs to happen. And I'm not saying it needs to happen as like there's no legal system. I'm saying that there has to be a repercussion, so then people who see if you don't report because you didn't report, that there's repercussions.
So like the people aren't reporting because they're worried the system will fuck them. But if you don't report, the system will f you too.
So like, exactly, and he's totally fucking right about that. Because yeah, if you're afraid of getting fucked by the system, then you have to create a system where if you don't report, you get even more fucked.
Like you need to do your job.
It's like this dual concern, totally right? You don't have to talk to the police. Like everybody has their own individual rights for self-preservation, your Fourth Amendment rights. You don't have to, Miranda rights. You don't have to talk to me. But it's different when you're a mandated reporter. Mm-hmm. And it's different when parents aren't being told why their kid. If you've got a kid. You don't have a kid yet. Not you either. If you picked up your fucking toddler from school and they pissed themselves and they're crying, and you're like, oh my God, what's going on with you? The first thing you do is go up to the teacher and be like, hey, what happened?
Yeah, of course.
And you would expect a real answer. Somebody tried to steal Jimmy. What you wouldn't expect is for that school to delete video footage. What you wouldn't expect is for that school to be like, oh, you know what? I'm not sure. Something happened. You'll have to talk to an administrator about it. I'm not sure. About it. It's people that are afraid of doing the right thing. Like these school teachers.
Yeah, exactly. And Brandon's 100% right. The way you solve that problem is by creating an incentive that doing the wrong thing is 10 times more detrimental. Because if you've created a system where doing the right thing puts you at risk, then you have to amend the system.
And principals are afraid to do the right thing. And like I said, we can guess why. I've got my own hypothesis. This is why. But either way, they're failing to do the right thing for one reason or another. And some of them are bad. And I'll give you another.
Can somebody get these guys an electric fly swatter? So you can get one of these. All right, listen. So you get one of these right here, and they're really cheap. They're on Amazon. You've got the Dragon Slayer Greatsword, Guts Sword. You guys could definitely afford this. You just need to get one of these fucking things, and if one of those bugs flies around, you just zap them. It's super easy. They're like $3.
For example, this case might have been a fluke. It could have been like, kids experimenting and then one of them got scared. It could have been absolutely nothing. It still could be absolutely nothing. I've left 6 messages on a principal's voicemail saying, hey, I just need you to talk to me. I need the phone numbers of the parents. I only have the phone numbers of the kids. I don't want to call the kids. Please give me the phone numbers of the parents, of the adults of these kids, of the police report that you called 911 for, to have police already show up. I just don't have the phone numbers for the parents, and I can't get a return phone call. How many times do I got to call a school principal to be like, hey, there's a potential sexual assault. I just need to talk to the parents. And I can't get a return phone call?
It's fucking wild.
And
if they're not doing a return phone call, there's a certain point where negligence becomes malice. And if you are so negligent that you are, and I think this is malice, by the way, because you're deleting footage. Like, negligence is just not giving a fuck and not reporting anything. But if you're actively hiding things, then that's something that's very different.
And for some reason, they're protected. And my opinion from all of this and everything else is that it is the legal representatives of the Buffalo City schools that are advising, educating, scaring, whatever you want to say it is, to these administrators, teachers, counselors. Don't talk to police. Don't make a police report. Have the police report, instead of say sexual assault, make it information only. Well, you want to bury a sexual assault with a kid? Have a fucking cop show up and then have them write down everybody's name and say information only, and then don't forward it to special victims unit.
Yeah.
5 kids, 7 kids are by one other kid in the school, right? They're 14, he's 16. It doesn't fucking matter if it's not a crime or if it was consensual. If somebody says I was and I felt bad about it, it's my job to investigate it. Why are you stopping that? And so,
yeah, exactly. It's not the it's not the school administrator's job to distinguish whether a crime was committed or not. Their job is only to report what happened. Like, they're not the investigator. This is some dark shit.
I was going to do it on the main podcast. If you want to throw it at the end, that's cool. But I might be asking for financial assistance after this goes live, but I'm okay with it because
you're doing the right thing.
I'm legit bad. Yeah, this is
it's
nuts.
fucking me up. I can't deal with it no more.
Something that I've learned from our little podcast is ever since we've opened it up to like first responders, I've read a lot of those stories in there, and first responders PTSD, I think it's like for the active duty military, when you go to war, it's like it's highs and lows. Like you just get a shit show or nothing. Like it's all over the place. But first responders, it's just a constant thing. And like you being in the smack dab middle of both, bro, I don't know how you do it. Like people in general, like cops in general who deal with like sex crimes or child sex crimes, I couldn't do it. I'd be going to prison.
Because it's the idea of like the, at least
He's right.
when you're talking about military trauma, it's like that's over there.
You're in war. Well,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the thing. You're in war. You are fighting the enemy. You're like, chances are innocent aren't. You're not taking the life of an innocent. It's very rare. You're fighting enemy combatants. You're shooting blah blah blah, and then you come back and you're like, oh, and it's a separation
It's
versus
like-
here. And it's not the innocent you're seeing and then interacting with or pulling up to a crime scene, as you
I
said.
think there's also like the meta level thing where there's like this growing resentment and distaste for police officers. And so anytime a police officer displays a level of vulnerability, you have like a certain toxic part of the internet that is like even happy about that. I think there's definitely that's going on too, right? There's like an entire culture. Yeah, there's a culture that dehumanizes these people and makes it okay to laugh at their suffering
It's like, hey, there was a
while
fucking
they're
drunk
trying to
driver
do something good, right?
and a baby got smeared across the road. That, and then you have to go home immediately.
Yeah.
And no, that's
deal
going
with
on
that.
around you all the time.
Yeah,
It's like
different world.
it's like an acute injury versus just like sustained overuse injury almost.
Yeah.
Like I would join the military and go to war over being a police officer. I am so sorry. Any day.
Paper towels.
Paper towels. I got them right here. Boom. Because of that exact,
That was
you're gonna get pink
Get
lip.
the smelling salts.
Are you available later?
Did you just do a line of energy drink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I feel better after getting all that off my fucking chest.
Well, thank you for dude, brother.
Bro,
Thank
you
you.
have a-
Thank you.
Dude,
for sharing, brother.
I'm honestly like I'm like for real. Like I'm fucking. I feel like there is gonna be. I am gonna have some sort of repercussions.
Here's what I think is also bad is that what do you think the probability is that he is just identified every time that this has happened? I think the probability of that is 0. Like these are the times that he can verifiably prove that something happened that wasn't reported. Think about all the times where they're not reported.
Because I'm trying to do the right thing.
We got your
Like I
back.
feel like people.
Or there
like,
isn't
like,
any proof.
You have so many
Yeah.
people that will have your back on
yeah.
that.
dude.
We will show our ass to make that
I
happen.
did that already.
On a different issue, yeah, you did literally do that. but-
Do cops have whistleblower protection? I know military does. Like honest
I think
question.
they do,
There's
yeah.
a whistleblower protection for everybody. So yeah, and like if there's like a legal thing where they're going to come after me, I bet you there is going to be a legal thing where they come after me, and I don't know how I'm going to be protected or what that's going to be. Whenever
worked
it
out
comes.
for
See,
you.
like
So-
this is the kind of guy you should have a give send go for, right? Not some crazy psycho with a knife that stabs somebody in the chest. If that happens.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know what I don't know what's going to be so far, but like the things that I just said, right? And because I'm concerned about them, it's like you said, the one case is mine, and that's how I know about it. But like
The local Buffalo News tried to dismiss it all because they were drinking in the podcast.
these are concerns.
I immediately
from
believe you.
higher ranking people in the Buffalo Police Department.
Yeah.
These are concerns from patrol people in the Buffalo Police Department. These are
said
concerns
that?
from the
Find the
district
article-
attorney's
can somebody
office.
find the article
like
for
the
me when I
district
finish
attorney's
this?
office is like, Rich, like I know what you're dealing with. This is fucked up. I've got this. I've got that. This is going on. That's how I know that. Like they're the lawyers from. Or that's the information that I'm getting that back up that thinking that the lawyers that represent the schools are not just not responding but also obstructionists, which is what the like. And
I mean, there has to be official correspondence here, right? Like there has to be some form of paper trail for this if they're communicating. It can't be saying all of this in person.
if I can be frank, I think everybody in the world
There's
is
got
going
to
to
be a
be
paper
like,
trail. Yeah, exactly. Can we link the
So
video?
let me get
yeah,
this
I'm going to link
straight.
the whole thing.
you're a lawyer, and instead of assisting the police department in protecting kids because you represent
Here's
the
the
schools.
video.
Instead of assisting them, you're going to intentionally obstruct them. You're going to not respond to subpoenas. You're going to not respond to court orders. You're going to think that you're so high above the law and you've got no repercussions have happened to them because like you need somebody above a judge.
And that's the worst thing about it is that nothing has happened. And they're not even, and this is what I find to be so funny is people are complaining about, oh, Trump's ignoring judges or whatever. These people are just random school administrators and they're ignoring judges. This is nuts. They represent the school district, not the kid. That's the thing. You know what the worst thing about it is? I think that's a really good way to put it. I think you're totally right.
What's the judge going to do? Hey, give this to me. Yeah, I haven't given you anything, and I'm not going to give you anything, and nothing happens. Like, where the else do you go? The commissioner of police can't do shit about that. I mean, maybe we can make an arrest here or there, but then we need the assistant district attorneys and the district attorney of Erie County to have her back and do that. And if there's assistant district attorneys that are like, dude, these lawyers aren't even responding to us. Like, we don't know what, like, we got to get somebody higher above our DA to do something or the DA to do something. I don't know, like, who can do something. And it's gotten so bad in the schools that, like, this is my, like, I don't know. I just got to, like, talking to a shrink and fucking and this.
I just hate how bad it's gotten to the fact where you believe that the unsubscribed podcast is the best outlet because Jesus Christ.
Bro.
Well, the problem is because every single other media outlet is so curated and controlled. That's the reason why podcasts and individual media has been growing so much. It's because even some larger alternative media has run into this problem also. Like I know that people have criticized Ben Shapiro and like his company for doing this, for example, right? Is that they're so controlled and they have these ulterior motives. And it's almost like as a media company, the bigger you get, the more the temptation is to work against the best interest of the public. The Daily Wire is an Israel mouthpiece. Yeah, well, that's what a lot of people say. And I was just bringing this up to say that, like, it's not just mainstream media. This is something that's been going on with alternative media as well.
I already know. I can guarantee this will light a fuck that school.
On the
system.
plus
That's
side.
part two because it's like we know you, we love you, we're here
Yeah.
for you. Like we're.
I know
ride
that
or
you
die.
guys will do your best to protect me, but at the same time, like, if these people
I mean,
are
I'll tell you this, right? I mean, like, if this guy has any sort of, if the school tries to sue him or whatever, and he does a fundraiser, I would share it. I would support it myself personally. This is something that I think is it's a worthy cause, much more than the ones that we're promoting nowadays. I think that many people would, right? And so I don't think this guy's alone. I think that the fact is that, I would say probably 90%, maybe probably more than that, of like men in like this country and also just in the world feel exactly the way that he does. They do. Like 99%. There's a very small subset of people that are these like weird, like there's so much weird about this, right? Like I don't even want to get into it. Can you summarize what happened? Basically, there's a school district in Buffalo, New York, that is Buffalo School. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, right? And so anyway, that's it. Okay. So they not only are not reporting instances of kids being abused, but on top of that, they're actively deleting evidence of the abuse happening. There was a kid abducted from the school, and the parents were not even told that it happened. And the video evidence of the abduction was deleted, and the only evidence that it happened was recorded by a third party.
like, hey,
And attempted. Excuse me. It didn't happen, but it was happening and it was stopped. Thank you.
because I know what's going to happen, right? I'm not an idiot. I've been around the legal system long enough, and I know how if you shake the right tree, something's going to happen.
Check the Twitter for Buffalo
Like
schools.
I know
I'm
what's
gonna
going to
get to
happen is they're going to say that whatever I said, they're going to pick it apart. They're going to go through all my videos. They're going to go through this right now, what I'm saying, and they're going to go, you violated this, and this of your department's policy and procedure. And they're going to go, and you violated this, and this of whatever procedure. And you should be fired. You need to be removed. You're suspended. And here you go. And so what's going to happen is a guy, myself, if I can toot my own horn, who's a hard worker, who's been crushing his cases, who my lieutenant and my chief.
This is, I think, one of the problems that happens to a lot of people that work inside of these different departments is that their enthusiasm turns to almost cynicism when they feel like they're being oppressed by the bureaucracy of the machine that they're inside of. And I think that's why you have so many of these police officers and people that work in these different organizations that are effectively trained into apathy. Because it's just like, you know, they come into it with like a certain level of righteousness. That righteousness is undermined by endless levels and layers of bureaucratic red tape. They can't express themselves. They can't talk about it. They can't do anything about it. And eventually you do that for 20 or 30 years and you stop giving a fuck. I think that's what happens.
Detectives can vouch as like an asset in whatever unit I go to, especially under the investigative unit of being, you know, special victims or others. Like
a good ass cop.
Yeah.
Like a good ass police officer.
So I know that I just know the squeeze is going to happen to where
you get beaten down, punching a wall. Yeah.
There's going to be, I feel like there's going to be
it's
negative.
Not righteousness. It's trying hard to do a good job. You're right. Righteousness could be perceived as a, you know, like a, you know, pejorative. But yeah, he's trying to do his job. He's trying to do his best. Yeah, for sure.
Repercussions on my career, and they're going to come after me for it because just that. If nobody else has done this yet, why?
Wait, can we? I guarantee we could pull way more money than their attorneys do. I guarantee we can pull way.
Do we
more.
know who the attorneys are?
I don't know the names of the attorneys. But I can say that they are the attorneys that represent the Buffalo school system, and that they are attorneys that have been receiving subpoenas, and that those attorneys that have been receiving the subpoenas have not been responding to them.
I'm pretty comfortable dying on the hill of protecting kids.
Which is like totally morally, I'm 100% in the right. Morally, like, fuck off. I know what I'm doing, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be negative repercussions. And like, that's one of those weird things where like, I love being a cop. I'm not going to stop being a cop. I could have this career, but I love being a cop. But I'm worried that my thing is I think they're going to suspend me for an investigation. And they're going to take a good detective that does the right things off the fucking streets.
Let it happen. He'll be a martyr. That's the truth. I mean, and by the way, it's easy for me to say because I don't have to cash this check. He does. But I mean, I think like, I mean, honestly, like this podcast, a lot of these guys, like, you know, my audience, etc. Like these are all like pretty much, this is the money demographic, right? Middle-aged men and young guys. Yeah. Like a lot of people would donate to this. Like of any demographic to have, this is the money demographic.
For an indefinite period of time. What my biggest fear is, I don't think I'll lose my job for it, even though I know they'll come after me for it. Mm-hmm. My next biggest fear is that they're just going to take me off the table and they're going to fucking put me on administrative leave for 10 years until I'm forced to retire, and I'm never going to be able to help a kid again. And that's going to make me cry.
As he sips from his bad bitch mug.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that
I love arresting bad guys.
You make a change, brother.
I feel like Rich is
you got contacts in the White House? You got contacts in the Pentagon?
I'll put it this way. We got some contacts that could probably make this
terrifying for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, you know,
it's all fun and games until you get a call from your boss's boss's boss.
Yeah. So like
in DC.
So I knew, and like not to
true,
you know, pump you guys up, but you know, you're kind of a big deal.
You ever see Good Will Hunting?
What's that?
Good Will Hunting.
What about it? Yeah, one of my favorite movies.
Is that the autistic guy
Robert
who
Williams.
like
What's Robert Williams telling? It's not your fault.
Oh, bro, don't
It's
fucking.
not your fault.
Yeah, that's my line.
It's not your fault.
It's not my fault. I know. Well, I didn't cause the situation, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to catch flack for it. You know, and I'm okay with catching flack for it. What I don't want is to like not do the thing that I'm good at that I love.
We'll make sure that never happens.
Yeah, you got a couple million homies.
We will dump whatever's needed to keep that going.
Goes to war.
I'll fucking
looking at our combined numbers, it's like my gang's bigger than yours.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't know if I'm invited, but I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah. So,
fuck. Well, that was a little heavy.
Is it not a crime for the mandated reporter to not report it, though?
Yes.
Say that again.
Is it not a crime for the mandated reporter to not report?
Let me tell you something, right? it's a slippery slope, which is one of the reasons why I think there's been like some pushback. I don't want to say pushback, but it's a slippery slope, and that's why it's difficult to charge not reporting when you're a mandated reporter. In New York State, there is New York State penal law. I forget which one it is, but it's failing to report, right?
So
now,
it is against the law.
That can fall
there
under. I'll give you two examples that are very different, right? Failing to report can be the situation that I talked about the girl going to a school counselor and saying, you know, something's happening to me and them not reporting it, right? It can also, technically under the law, right, the white and black of it, it can also be done if you beat up your kid, a 911 call, and I am a police officer and I come up and I arrest you for that.
Sure.
And I take you to jail, but I don't report it. So that's one of the things that's kind of keeping like the police, I think, potentially at bay, is that there's instances where the police made an arrest, but they didn't report, which is like, to me is bullshit. They made the arrest. The arrest has been effected. A rookie cop would assume that I've done literally the highest amount of shit I can do. I've effected an arrest. I haven't just taken a report and sent it forward. I've made an arrest. New York State now knows that this person has been arrested for child abuse, and they bring him in. And so I know that that's one of the issues when it comes to going for somebody that has a failure report. Because if the legal system is the legal system, if you do it for one person.
I think it's a very big difference too also. Like you're talking about a police officer not reporting something as he's arresting somebody for a certain crime. This is like an administrative error. But whenever you're talking about like a counselor not reporting something, this is a deliberate obfuscation. Like you see kind of like where there's like a very big difference here. Is it like one cop fucks up by not reporting it right? This is done, oops, I'm a dumbass. And then the counselor doesn't report it. Oops, I'm a piece of fucking shit. That's the difference.
You got to do it for them all. And sometimes, you know, people in the legal system don't see the gray. And the gray is the police officer made a good judgment by effecting the arrest and maybe failed to report. But in that failure to report, it wasn't an intentional failure to report. He made an arrest and assumed that that was enough, which I think we can all agree is like an understandable mistake.
Yeah.
Right?
That's when you have a good system, it works.
Yeah. God, our
you know, if you effect an arrest, why should you have to make a report? That should be done by maybe a report technician or by New York State by checking a box and saying, oh, hey, this person was arrested for this.
Yeah,
we'll fill out
it's
this
a
report
bureaucratic
automatically
mistake
from CPS. But that's very different from my example of the school counselor failing to report not once, and I'll even let that one slide. Like, fuck it. Hey, my dad beats me. All right, this kid's a liar a little bit. Where are the bruises? I don't see any bruises. Well, I stay home, so then I don't have bruise up that well. Like, all right, this is weird. You should report that. But everybody makes a mistake. All right, cool. You got one. But if some kid fucking shows up to you with a recording on their phone and says, hey, this is me, and then walks away, and then later on in the day, you go back to that kid and then confirm that it's them, fuck off. You don't get to do your job anymore because you can't. You're inept. So those are two different things. And that's one of the things that I've noticed is like this slippery slope thing. If you go against the counselor that did the obvious wrong, that can bring in litigation to say, well, we have to treat the officers that didn't do the CPS report, Child Protective Services report, when they made the arrest.
Do you remember what I said about how, like, in video game companies, they create these levels of bureaucracy where accountability is displaced through so many different people that nothing can ever change and nothing can ever be done? One thing that I think is a commonality is that there's like a degree of bureaucratic entropy that happens within systems, and you need to regularly flush that out. And I think that's what's happening in this circumstance, is that you have this accountability that's being displaced among too many people. And because the accountability is displaced among so many people, nobody actually wants to do anything and step outside of line because it might put everybody at risk. And there's no way that you can actually do accountability because there's so many chains of command and so many chains of like behavior. or action, that like who's really at fault here. It's very hard to say. And I think here's the worst thing about this is that I think that in a lot of these cases, it's done by design. I think that people create these bureaucratic Gordian knots in order to make it impossible to unravel who actually is doing things wrong, so it's easier for them to just simply not do their job. That's what's happening. That's what I actually think that it's happening like that.
But at the same time,
it's in video games, it's in education, it's in corporations, it's in probably probably the military. I don't know. It's everywhere. It's job security. Yes, exactly. It's too big to move. Yeah.
like I said, there's gray, there's understanding. There is, what do we call it? Officer discretion. That officer discretion can be passed down to the fucking ADAs.
Time or two.
Which means that if I see something happen, let's say a traffic ticket, you go through a stop sign, I have the discretion to not give you a stop sign ticket. The ADAs, the district attorney, has the
a good example of this, just so you guys can understand the context, is that an officer has discretion to give you a speeding ticket until you're going 20 miles over the speed limit. And at that point, he is compelled by law to give you a speeding ticket. But before that, it's up to him.
discretion to say, all right, you effected an arrest. You weren't intentionally not reporting a CPS thing. You made an arrest and thought that was good enough. You made a mistake. Hey, next time, fix that, right? And then you also have the discretion.
Yeah, but like that's an example, like kind of a general idea.
Up until the third time that kid came into school, black and blue, and I had to arrest her blood father.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
So
policing.
Yeah,
dude, I love it. It's great. And I never expected to have like this emotional like reaction to it, but like it
seems like the dichotomy
and
between
you see how the bureaucracy of this trains police officers into apathy and cynicism, right? Like I think that like all of this fits together.
Like it's awful to experience, but it's also awful knowing that if I'm not there to stop it, it'll keep going.
Yeah, and I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that. Like, dude, it's like being, to fucking pump my own horn, it's like being a drill sergeant. If I see a private fuck up and they do the wrong thing and all the other drill sergeants are like, well, you gotta be careful on that one. That one might make a complaint on you. I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna do the right thing. And I'm gonna discipline that private. Well, the same thing here. Like, fuck the people that aren't doing their job. They should do their job. Especially when it comes to kids. Especially when it comes to kids. And if you make a mistake...
I think this is also, again, like another Karen bureaucracy thing, is that when you're dealing with law enforcement, and primarily all men, there are instances where yelling at somebody is the right decision. I'm sorry. Especially if you're dealing with a bunch of young men, that's how you deal with it. But the problem is that, inside of a Karen bureaucracy, you don't understand that. Like, how many of you guys have had... Yeah, like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, how many of you guys have had a situation when you were a young guy, aged 14 to probably 20, somewhere around there, and you were acting like a fucking retard, and you got yelled at and fucking set straight, and after that, things were better? Yep, exactly. And I'm not saying they should beat the shit out of you. I'm not saying anything really bad. But there is a degree of natural male friction that happens that I think a lot of Karen bureaucracies don't understand.
Hey, listen, we're reasonable people. We made a mistake. Don't do that again.
That's just
okay, cool. If you make if you are, what would you call it? Reckless.
A cover-up.
A cover-up. Intentionally preventing the district attorney's office from gathering information after you're subpoenaed by court orders or judges, etc., then fuck you. Fuck you. If you're deleting...
No, it's about holding people accountable, right? If you're doing this, you should be put up on charges. Like, that's what needs to happen. That's what I think.
You! So, it's come to that point where, oh, man, I've been, like, stressing about it for like the past 5 days.
I would be too.
Ever since I
I'd be so stressed.
Decided that something had to happen and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, man, I think I'm going to bring it up on the podcast.
We got your back. I'll fucking
Yeah. You are a bad bitch.
Dude, I picked the right mug.
Dude, thank you.
So
I'm not gonna lie though.
Thank you. First off,
hey,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Seriously, from
dead serious.
Thank you, brother. Like that takes a
Here's the
lot of
warrant
balls.
for your arrest. Also,
doing
fuck
the
you.
right thing.
Yeah,
A lot of
that's
people don't
good.
do
I
the
like
right
that.
thing as
Sounds
it
Put
should.
my arm around you.
Don't touch it.
It's
yeah,
taken so much to not hug you
Yeah,
this
like,
whole time.
I know Rich
Don't
doesn't
do it
want
on
me to-
camera. People don't need to see me be all weepy and
How
shit.
do you want us to start?
What's that?
How do you want us to start?
I think that if
I think we just did.
yeah.
No, I know we did. Just what's the opening move?
I'm not gonna lie, like hearing you talk about that, and then Brandon brought up the whole like, you know, if you're not there, then who else is gonna do
Dude,
it?
there's a lot of people that care that don't know what to do, and they're like we're trying to do it, we're trying to move it forward, and I'm like it's not fast enough. This isn't you know what, this is
I think this is also the reason why a lot of movies like Batman and like old westerns are so popular, especially with guys, is that all of this kind of stuff is antithetical to what I think the human perception of true justice is. Even vigilante movies. Yeah, exactly, right? Because like, and I'm not saying vigilante justice is good, but I'm saying that like all of this fits together and it paints, I think, a very, very clear picture, right? People are looking for moral justice, not legal justice. And that's a very important distinction there.
same spot for 2 years. Heaven help us if how long we've been in that same spot before I got to the Special Victims Unit, right? I know we've been in the same spot since I became a detective and went to the Special Victims Unit in 2023. And if we were still in that, if that spot is where we're at now, I don't know how far back that beginning was. And like I said, there's a lot of good people in the ADA's office, in the commissioner's office of my police department. There are good people that have been trying to find a way to fix it, and they're frustrated, and they're limited with what they can do. They're just limited.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, I'm pushing up the chain of command. I keep making these things. I keep saying these things, and you like I'm doing it.
See, this is exactly what I was saying. Yep.
I'm not ignoring it, and
Trains
like I said,
people into
it's
apathy.
been weighing on me. I started getting counseling last week.
Jesus.
No, it's a good
Christ.
thing, though. That's a really good thing.
It's been fucking me up.
it's
So
absolutely
I got counseling last week, and then
Proud of you, brother.
yeah, thank you. And then a couple of days ago, I couldn't sleep.
That's a lot.
And we'll make a difference the best we can.
Hey, it's something like a Me Too movement. This is actually, you know what? Like, I unironically agree with you. I'm going to read this guy's comment. They need something like a Me Too movement. People need to mass come forward and whistleblow so the majority can't be disciplined. I think this is true. Yeah, and I'm Spartacus moment, basically. Yeah, for fucking sure.
Appreciate it.
Oh, Rich, I think we can all say you're not ever going to be jobless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but man, I really like this job. I tell you, the police. I mean, I'm talking about police. Man, I really love being a cop. Man, I love being a cop.
Well, outside of all the millions
Do you
of...
think there's a chance this manager severely underestimates how long legal proceedings can take? Well, I think that isn't that circular logic to a certain degree? Is that the problem is that things are taking so long, so the answer to why they're taking so long is because they take a long time? I don't think that really... I like, that doesn't necessarily like, okay, never mind.
Fake people. We all love you, brother.
Yeah, shut up. All right, let's say some jokes for the after show now.
Hey, Rich. I speak for the entire table. We will always have your back, no matter what, buddy. The entire community will rally behind you. Thank you so much for opening up, showing that side.
I think again, another really important component to this is that I bet this is only the tip of the iceberg. I do, because these are the ones that they can verifiably confirm were suppressed. Think about how many of them that were successfully suppressed.
To the world. You
There's
and
a
your
part
lady,
two. Yeah, I saw that.
Are amazing, amazing humans. Be proud of everything you've accomplished in this life. and continue to accomplish. You guys are going to be
The
fantastic
school made an official
parents.
statement. Yeah,
we
we're
are
going to look
blessed
at it
to
in a
call
minute.
you a friend. We are blessed to share the room with you and experience those laughs.
Yeah, I'm gonna link you guys
We're
the
blessed
video.
to call you a business partner. Keep kicking ass and taking names, man. To the audience out there that might
give it
not
a like,
know
give them a sub.
Rich, Angry Cops.
Unsubscribed
You're
podcast.
talking to a dude that loves being a police officer, loves being a detective, most importantly, loves helping others. He is still in the military as a drill sergeant. He doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be a police officer. He chooses to be because he actually
Part
cares
two is crazy.
and he actually
Is
wants
it?
to make a difference. That is so rare to find a human like that. That's why he is a
Do you know what I think? I actually disagree with that. I think that there's a lot of guys out there that want to go out and make a difference, and they are trained into apathy by the oppressive nature of these systems.
very, very good friend.
I think there's a lot of people like that.
Why stress how lucky we are to have an individual like that in our lives? Be proud of yourself, man. I hope you know that. That is from all the love from all the guys. We are just blessed to have you in our lives, my friend. And I know it wasn't easy doing that message, crying on camera and then crying in front of others it's difficult. It's not an easy thing putting yourself out there like that. And you did, and you have so much respect from all of us.
Jesus.
So thank you, buddy. Thank you for being who you are, my friend. I love you, my man. I'd give you a hug if I could.
Well, there it is. Wow. Okay. Yeah, again, unsubscribed podcast. They have a part 2. The part 2 is an hour long. Depending on how the reception for this is and everything. I know obviously like a lot of you guys, it's like kind of this is kind of like a heavy topic, right? But like whenever I saw this, I was like, okay, I have to talk about this, right? This is pretty crazy, right? Watch it tomorrow. I'm not going to watch it today, right? Just because I'm not going to watch it today. I've got other things I want to do, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to watch it. Just not right this moment. So yeah, anyway, there it is. Thanks for talking about it. Yeah, for sure. And anyway, down the hill, protecting children is what matters. And when the Powerball got you, Rich, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, people are very, very supportive of this. And this video went very viral for their podcast too. Like if you look at a lot of their other episodes, like this podcast is really popular. But like, you're looking at 300 and 400 and 500, like usually like somewhere around 500,000 views. This one has 1.6 million, right? So it definitely hit outside of at least like their orbit of like audience. And hopefully, like me talking about it and like, like putting it out to like my audience too will help out for people too. Because yeah, I had no idea about this. Now I heard that the school district actually reported, they reported about this themselves. Is that correct? That the school district also has had a response to these guys doing the video, right? And so let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at it. This is the statement from the Buffalo school. And so let's go ahead and take a look at it in just a second. I have to, mods have the link to the tweet. Yeah, sure. Well, give me just a second, and I'll get through everything. Let's go use the bathroom. So we got a bunch of fucking retards over here talking shit. Statement from the Buffalo Public School. A member reveals the school district was actively trying to remove it. And this is the this is the video right here. So this is the statement the public school made as a response to this video and these allegations. They said, statement from the Buffalo Public Schools is aware of an unfortunate and recent allegation circulating in an online video. The district is prepared to vigorously address these untruths. The district has prioritized the safety and security of its students and staff every day. BPS is second largest Buffalo Public Schools, I guess, largest district in New York City. Or New York State. Yeah, right. With some 60 schools, 30,000 students, and any transgressions that may happen are handled swiftly with seriousness, fairness, empathy, and integrity. Surely. Okay, so they have a close professional relationship with the police department. Welcome. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. There it is. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Yep, there you go. And thank God. Now, let's see if there's any information about... So what about these guys being drunk? Because I read somebody saying that, like, they were getting discredited because they were drunk. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's true or not. Can somebody find me the, is a local news did it? It is on his, okay, yeah, let me see if I can find it real quick. He tweets a lot, but I'll see what we can do. And let's see, where is it? Fuck. New charges filed in Buffalo schools incident highlighted in podcast. According to court documents, the Illinois native faces new felony charges. Wait, okay, so hold up. So this is a bit of an update here. Am I getting this right? That so all of these things are. Wait a minute. So if they're all untrue, then why did they lead to a new felony? Why did they lead to a new felony charge? Geez, guys. I wonder what the reason for that is. Oh, what a big fucking mystery. How could this have happened? Yeah, it's drunk up. Yes. Oh my God, it's a mystery. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I guess they just arrested him because of the podcast, right? Detective, and this is it. Buffalo schools. Huge shout out. Yeah. And this is a charge done by the police, of course, right? And this is the original video. And let me see. So is there any information about this, about the article written about them that was negative? Because that was the thing that I had wanted to look at before. Oh, by the way, Donut, just to keep in mind who this guy is. I've talked to him a couple of times before. He's a really nice guy. And he was the one that paid the fine for the... I think that the... let me make sure that I'm 100% right on who it is. There was a South Korean... Yeah, a South Korean Navy SEAL YouTuber was fined $7,000 for attacking Johnny Somali, and he said, I just did what I needed to do as a Korean citizen. And then he obviously had the fine, and then Donut paid the fucking fine for him. So that's who this guy is, right? And yeah, beat the shit out of Johnny Somali, right? Yeah, exactly. Fuck him. And so anyway, where's the article about this? I want to find it because I just want to see another... Anytime that I can find an instance of media being dishonest or disingenuous, I want to find it. Goblin Slayer? Yeah, exactly, right? Oh, fuck. Rift Up Grins, can I send you the link? I posted it to your ex. Yeah, tag me in it on Twitter and I can take a look at it there. Let me see if I can pull it up myself. Oh, fuck. Okay. Where is... I'm not seeing any articles. Yeah, I'm not seeing this, bro. Like, where is it? Try looking at Buffalo Channel 4 News. Okay, sure. I guess I can try to find that. Unsubscribe. Bro. Those autocompletes? Damn. Okay, let me see if I can find any information about this. Is hiding crimes against kids. Accusations made. Is this it? Against in a podcast. Seriously. I don't know if this is really it or not. He's since appeared on more national podcasts for not responding quickly to his original allegations. Something on the surfaces. Yeah, is this it? I'm not sure if this is it or not. Just exit out of that. It's not this one? Okay. Does anybody have the title? Does anybody have the title of it at all? Because if I can find the title, then it will be easier for me to do it. Yeah, give me 1 second. It's on X. Okay, it looks like we might have a link, guys. Thanks a lot. Okay, we got Fern Melder, one of my mods in chat. Huge W. Oh, it's an actual video? Oh, shit. Wait. Instead of focusing on the allegations of child abuse cover-up first, you go after unsub.
Hey, let's start the new week off fresh with what is a very hot topic right now.
Some fresh new allegations.
Oh my gosh. I mean, seeing this come in over the weekend and reading about it and just the headline, it's all like, what? What's going on?
Right.
So I want to hear your voice on these accusations about the Buffalo Public School District hiding sexual abuse and sexual assault among students. This is what one police officer, Buffalo police officer and detective is saying is going on.
So let's merge in with our TV viewers. Stand by.
larger conversation here. This is the part where we get to share your voice and really dive into today's topics. And today's topic is one that a lot of people are weighing in on Facebook, reading on the WKBW page right now on our website. So good morning to you. Want to know what you think about this frankly bizarre situation that's happening.
So a Buffalo police detective from the Special Victims Unit has come forward to expose allegations of sexual abuse among students in schools and then a deliberate cover-up among administrators and lawyers for the Buffalo Public School District. So this all kind of stems from one incident in particular at the school that's connected to the Buffalo Science Museum. So Detective High came out over the weekend on this podcast and made all of these allegations about what's happening inside the school that the school says is inherently false and untrue.
Then why did a new felony charge happen for the thing that they said happened?
So while they say that there's nothing to worry about, Detective High says that there is most certainly something to be concerned about. So
what a surprise.
We're going to dig in here. We want to share your voice because there's obviously a lot to get to and a lot to unpack. But first, to look at some of today's top stories.
Police in the town of Tonawanda working to find who's behind the serial
agency.
All be going on. It was all kind of going through my mind. Okay, this story, I think when I first read it over the weekend and it was all kind of going through my mind, immediately I'm like, wait, what?
Right.
What's going on here? So you're talking about the second largest school district in the entire state of New York and claims that they are hiding sexual abuse and sexual assault among students.
Yeah.
I mean, that just raises so many red flags for parents, for community members. These are our kids, our students. So how could this possibly be going on, one, and then be going unreported? So you see this podcast, this is Detective Richard High, and he made these claims on a podcast, and he says, look, I know these are serious claims. I know that I could get in trouble for saying this, but I've got to be the voice here, the one who speaks out.
So I'll be honest with you. I started watching this podcast and my first thought was, this is ridiculous.
What is this?
This is crazy. I'm listening to all these guys burp and just be absolutely foul.
You're looking at like,
what a little soy boy rat bitch. What a nasty little rat. Ad hominem. What does it matter? Like, what? Jesus.
the White Claws on
Yeah.
the table.
And
Is
so
alcohol involved here?
my
Where
first
are they?
thought-
Is alcohol involved here? So let's get this straight. So now they're not dressed in a good way on the podcast. Do you want to know what's really terrifying for these news anchors? Let me tell you the fucking truth of why they're scared. The fact is that this podcast probably gets infinitely more people watching them than this shitty news show. So the reason why they're upset and they're afraid is because these podcasts put them at risk. That's the reason why they don't like the podcasts. It's not because of any sort of journalistic integrity. Well, you knew that wasn't the reason. But it's just because it puts them at risk. White Claws are not alcohol? No, there's alcoholic and non-alcoholic. I had some, they gave me some for some of the non-alcoholic. I threw them away. I guess I drank all of them. The non-alcoholic White Claws, I drank some of them. They were okay, but, not amazing. But the ones they were drinking were alcoholic. Okay, there's definitely that. What a disgusting thing to say.
What is this?
This is crazy. I'm listening to all these guys burp and just be absolutely foul.
How are they being absolutely foul? What does that even mean? What is that? What does this even mean?
Like the White Claws on
Yeah.
the table.
And
Is
so-
alcohol involved
You,
here?
I think so too.
My
Where
first
are
thought
they?
is, okay, this can't actually be real. But then when you actually listen to the allegations, you unpack what he's saying and understand that this guy is, to an extent, a public figure in
Right.
that A, he's paid for with taxpayer dollars, and B, he's
He's a public figure because he's paid for with taxpayer dollars. That's not what being a public figure means. It's just not. That what? Don't you have a teleprompter that you read this off of?
also put out there on his social media pages, his personality, and for all to see and support, you understand.
So he's trying to poison the well to make it seem like this detective is coming out here and doing it in order to get attention for his social media. And so he's introducing him in this way to poison the well for the audience, to think that he's a bad actor.
And that, okay, maybe he has a little bit of credence here, but it's a lot of credence.
I mean, he's in the special victims unit. You know, he's not just some random guy. He is a Buffalo police officer.
Exactly.
And he's going out on a limb, not only on this podcast, but he spoke with 7 News senior reporter Maki Becker. He came here and talked to us.
His job, I would argue, is what he is most at risk of right here. Right?
At risk of losing.
Coming out here and saying something against the Buffalo Public School District that he believes is 100% true,
And
that
they're
they
all
say is
denying
false.
it. Yeah.
Right. Sharice, good morning to you. Shaking my head is all I'm going to say. It's terrible all over. I want to go to Cindy's comment here. There is way too much going on that is kept untold. And Grace, we don't know if it's true, but if it is, what the hell is wrong with them and how are they working with kids?
That's what I'm saying about
So you're reading, you're checking chat, and you somehow think that you're above a podcast.
red flags, that those scary moments where you're like, wait, is this going on? Is this something that, you know, my child knows about or that's happening when they're in school every single day? Amy, good morning to you. The amount of abuse going on in our world has become so sickening. Please get help if you have a problem. Save our kids. They need protecting. Denise says, my question, why would he come forward and lie? Someone needs to look after these kids, and if the school is covering this up, disgusting. And that's a question too. Initially, you hear something and you have to be skeptical, right? Is this true? But then you're like, well, why would he lie about this? And what's going on here? So now the school board is hosting a special session tonight. They might go into executive session. So that was very last minute, late on a Sunday night. So it's clear that, you know, something's going on behind the scenes here.
Well, they have to react. That's what's going on.
They have to figure out what, you know, whatever's going on, they have to have a conversation. They have to get ahead of this and deal with it.
They are, at this point, the Buffalo School District behind the 8 ball. What they're saying here is that this is not true, that they are working to keep your kids safe, and that this would never happen. But what High says is interesting in that.
So, I mean, I guess they couldn't release the footage of the abductor, but actually they could. They could just omit the part where the kids are involved. So if the Buffalo School District wanted to prove this wrong, they would just show the security camera footage of this person, the abductor, coming in and leaving the school. Because, I mean, right? That would immediately disprove it. But if they don't have the footage, how far back do they have all the footage? And if they're missing this specific footage, why is that? Ah, jeez, dude. Ah, man, I wonder. Eli's the host. Eli's in the chat. What's his name? Eli double tap. Is that him? Wait, is this him? Oh fuck. That's actually Eli. Let me see. User. Let me. Yeah, bro, like he gifted subs. Yeah, thanks for what you're doing, man. Like I know I think Twitch doesn't let you like talk or something like that if you follow for a while. But yeah, no, I mean, like I'm really excited to find out what the follow-up to this is. I am, man. I really am. And thanks a lot for putting this out there. Yeah, we totally support you. And, you know, if anything bad happens, you know, like our community is totally in support. Yeah, we do.
There was destruction of evidence in some capacity, like surveillance video in this one case where there was an attempted kidnapping, an attempted abduction inside the school that is connected to the Buffalo Science Museum. He says the doors are unlocked there, but somebody deliberately deleted that video and is now
I feel like this is the easiest thing to prove, right? It's so, like, am I crazy? It's so fucking easy.
being an obstructionist and trying to get them to cooperate with subpoenas from the Erie County District Attorney's Office. So there is a lot of legalese here and a lot of like in the weeds stuff that actually paints a much broader picture when you look into it and start thinking about it. But what is to come of this, I think, is the big question now.
Right.
Where do we go from here? You're sending your kids off to school this morning. You still have to trust the people that you're sending to take care of your kids. In locus parenti, I think is what it is. Like they are basically the guardian during the day.
They didn't guard very well.
There.
Right.
Is anyone being held accountable? And, are
Those
people being held accountable and we just don't know about it? And these are things that people need to know.
My question is there a different way to go about this?
Oh, great. Let's make another advocacy for, let's advocate for going through the system that caused this problem to happen. Let's advocate for another bureaucratic compliance system that causes everything to effectively get filtered so much that it ceases to exist. Yeah, that's what he wants to run circles. Yes, exactly. And this is, again, these are the people that make the advocacy and they make the appeal to the authority of these systems that are designed to be oppressive. They'd rather waste all the time doing this bullshit than do what can be done already. Exactly. Yeah, and like you see, and this is why, like, I don't want to make this like very political because I think this is like very an apolitical issue. But like you see why, for example, like I'm a big supporter of like Elon Musk removing a lot of this Ghost. Thanks for the 10 subs, man. Elon Musk removing a lot of like the bureaucratic fat. I feel like these people are just an absolute cancer. Do you think it's a Democrat thing? No, I don't. I think focusing on the party affiliation only weakens the overall argument about this legitimate problem. I think that even if it's 95% a Democrat problem, that doesn't, and I'm not saying it is, but theoretically, this is a problem with simply any bureaucratic system. And I think this happens in a public and private sector. This happens in the federal government. It happens in the local government. It happens in video game studios. It happens at tech startups once they get enough people. I don't see the connection, to be honest. So here's what the connection is. This guy is making an argument toward the guy on the podcast coming on there and not going through the official channels in order to make this known. But the problem is that those official channels are designed to be oppressive. And so when you create a system that effectively suppresses and makes it almost impossible for you to do certain things, then that system is effectively working against your goal. So when you make an advocacy for that system, you are effectively advocating against the goal of what the system is designed to supposedly do. That's the reason. It's called the law of bureaucracy. I mean, I don't know, but like that's basically it. Did he say something? Sorry, let me just go ahead and double check because I don't know if it's still fucked or not. Yeah, 100% always welcome on. Thank you for getting the message out. All legacy, yeah, bro, Eli. Yeah, this is the host of the podcast, by the way. Like huge W's in chat. Like, bro, like thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you for doing it and everything, man. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yes, legacy media is garbage. It is. It's so bad, and it's crazy. And again, legacy media is part of that bureaucracy. It is part of that bureaucracy. It is part of this, again, this immovable apparatus that prevents anything from happening of value or importance. So yeah, we totally support you. If there's any degree of, what's the word? Like repercussions, collateral, or anything like that, my community is totally supportive and we'll do whatever we can. Right? We definitely can. And big shout out to Angry Cops for exposing this and putting his career at risk. Dude is a legend. Yes, again. And he's 100% correct. They want to restrict the message and control it. The school has many problems, and we have the deleted footage. So they couldn't even delete it the right way. Oh, my God. So not only are they awful, they're also stupid. Who could have ever imagined? So, but doesn't that prove what he was saying? That this wasn't some nefarious Pizzagate situation. It's just a bunch of retards desperately trying to protect themselves. Oh, God. Yeah, there it is. Of course, fucking retards. Exactly. Yeah, huge fucking shout out. Yes, show us footage. Well, they're probably not going to show it yet, right? I mean, why would they? You have to understand that showing the footage of this happening, I would be very reluctant to do that because there could be minors involved. I wouldn't immediately show that. That's smart for them not to immediately show it. Yeah, think about that. Think about this just, and I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, they can show it in court. Yeah, exactly. That's for the courts. Yeah, it is. But yeah, thank you, Eli. I appreciate it, man. I think that we all do.
From the detective or the school district?
Well, both. Does this create alarm? More harm than good?
What a rat fuck. Dude. What a weasel. Oh, bro. Like, oh.
You know, we never want to be alarmists, but obviously he's raising the red flag here. Mm-hmm. But is there a different way to go about doing it? And
you never want to be an alarmist? Well, what happens whenever something happens that's alarming? What do you do then? Like, it's just, what a ridiculous thing to say.
And perhaps, I mean, I appreciate the fact that he came forward and started speaking about it because that also shares his side of the story.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, it's definitely not the last time we're going to talk about this, but interesting to see it. I don't think there's ever been another case that has come out like this, right? That we hear about on a podcast.
So what I find to be funny about this is that, actually, let me finish. Let me just let it finish.
It's so 2025, right? It comes out on the podcast and
bizarre.
We hear about it, and now, it's going to.
It's bizarre. This guy doesn't like podcasts, I can tell.
Session, so we'll keep you updated.
Coming up in our next half hour, we're taking a look at what home essentials you could be paying more for because of tariffs. But first, Aaron's tracking your 7 weather.
Guys, we don't want to get into alarmism. Guys, we don't want to get into alarmism. Bro, suck my fucking dick. Are you kidding me? And also, by the way, going back and look at this. Whenever I'm looking at this, listen to it again. This was totally out of fucking nowhere.
Sexual abuse and sexual assault among students. So many, right? Could this possibly be going on, one, and then be going unreported? So you see this podcast. This is Detective Richard High, and he made these claims on a podcast. And he says, look, I know these are serious claims. And I know that I could get in trouble for saying this, but I've got to be the voice here, the one who speaks out.
So I'll be honest with you. I started watching this podcast, and my first thought was, this is ridiculous.
What is this?
This is crazy. I'm listening to all these guys burp and just be absolutely foul.
You're looking at like the white.
There is nothing about and so I was expecting him to try to go and explain why, but be a man. Holy shit. It's not. No, she's not even complaining about it. It's just him. She's fine. Yeah, what a fucking rat. I know. What a weasel. And so podcasting is making his job obsolete, and thank God for that. Thank God. And so, yes, predator enabler. Well, what I find to be funny about this is that he starts off his coverage of this with a personal attack, some weird personal thing about the way that they're running the podcast. It's this has nothing to do with it. And it wasn't even followed up by anything. It was just him oh yeah, by the way, these guys are bad. Who gives a fuck? Exactly. Who gives a fuck? There you go. He probably has kids, and it's what kids do, and he probably has no kids, so he cannot handle when someone else burps. I don't even think it's that. I don't have kids, and I think it's fine. Yeah. Bro, it's not even an attack. It's such a non-issue. No. See, this is the problem, is that I hate to use this word because it makes me so mad, but it's real. This is a microaggression. There are so many of these microaggressions that are committed by legacy media that are done to subversively cause the audience that doesn't have their guard up to have their perception warped in a way that is intentional. This is one of those microaggressions. This is exactly what's happening. And the problem with microaggressions and things like this is that they're small, and they're small enough to where when you call them out, they're like, oh, you're just being crazy. You're just getting mad over nothing. No. I see what's happening. It's obvious what's happening. And it's insulting to the intelligence of everybody that you're pretending like it's not. Am I crazy? These are unironic microaggressions. They are. I think we need to take this word back. We do. We've got to take this word back. We got to take it back from the woke people because I see this happen. I see it happen constantly. Are you not Mr. Microaggression? Well, I usually do macroaggressions, but yeah, I do a little bit of that too. Sure. Fucking base. Yes, exactly. It's a scripted attack. Yeah. Let's see. Male Karen. Yeah, definitely. Lawmakers still need to start going after media outlets because this is a crime on the public. They should be losing licenses if they're doing this bullshit. I think that they should not lose their licenses. I think that they should have no problem with that at all. But I think that there needs to be a conversation about whether these people are acting in the best interest of the public. And if the public is funding them and providing them with any opportunities, is this the best use of the taxpayers' money or anything like that? So yeah, meanwhile, quote, insert any and all accusations of substantiated or unsubstantiated evidence against police officers doing their job, immediately guilty and paraded around by every liberal news org. Yeah, exactly. And how do you hold them to it then? You hold them to it by doing exactly what we're doing right now. Calling it out, defining it, identifying it, and then directly confronting it. Yeah, by talking about it. And so, yeah, I'll read a few more of these. He's trying to dismiss the guy simply because he came out on a podcast or stream and not the local media. After all, it cannot be real unless it comes out on public television. That is exactly what it is. What a fucking rat. And you can see, obviously, that everybody, if you look at post engagements, they obviously shut this down. Go fuck yourself. Why'd you turn off the comments if you're so right? And yeah. Oh, and is this the guy? This is the guy. Okay, let me see. I can pull this up and we'll look at it. The president's CEO people is speaking out for the first time. More alarmism. Yep, there we go again. A new concern about cancer-causing chemicals. Like, all of this is alarmism. Yeah, what are we talking about? This will live rent-free in my mind. It's just, Jesus Christ. Oh. Oh, bro. Oh. Yeah, I wonder why this... I think this podcast upset him a lot. Polls are open. Make sure you make your voice heard. Yep, there it is. Uh-huh. Well, there we go. It may turn into personal attacks on him. Let's move on. I mean, he had no problem making personal attacks on the guy in the podcast, right? He had literally zero problem in that. This is a public figure. If you, the thing is that if you start making public attacks and you start doing this stuff, I just wanted to get an idea of who this guy is. I'm not insulting his appearance. I'm not doing anything like that. I am criticizing his words, his actions, and how they are incongruent with what it seems like he discusses on his Twitter. That's it. Yeah, it's a public figure. Yeah, that's an actual public figure. Let's see here. And he's fair game. Yeah, too bad, by the way, too bad. I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep doing it too, by the way.